Oh.
Hello, Amy.
Hello.
So you upgraded us to unlimited minutes, huh?
Yes.
That's
Wow.
marvelous.
Okay, it's recording. And everybody can hear?
Marvelous. Fantastic.
Good.
Hi, Allison.
Hey.
I thought I would give everybody another minute to get on. It's just now 7:01.
Oh, yes.
8:01 your time.
Yes, sorry. I was praying on my way home. I was running from Bible study. It's still going on. But please, God, let them be able to get on without me being there. Oh, please, God.
Yes, definitely.
So while we're waiting, is there anything that people want to get out of this class tonight? I know it looks like some people have stepped away.
Yes, they have.
One last tuck.
Right. Hey, Anna. Hey, Anna, when you get a chance, tell us what you want to get out of tonight's class. Is there something specific you're looking for?
Just more ways to keep my son healthy, pretty much. I mean, we don't use much chemical around his room. It's all thieves and that kind of cleaner that we use. But just other things to help with like his immune system and that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
Hey, Emily. We see you.
Hi, Emily. Well. I think I know everybody that's on this call.
And I have a feeling people are getting kiddos in bed and the
Yeah,
last moment before.
Right.
One thing, my goal for tonight for everybody is that they'll feel empowered by what they're learning. And, you know, I mean, when I was a young mom with my first kiddo, yes, I have an 18-year-old. You know, it was fear. Everything was fear. You know, oh my gosh, she's got a fever. Oh my gosh, she's got this. Oh my gosh, you know, and lots and lots of fear. And my desire is for women to feel empowered and mamas to feel empowered that we have tools that can help and support, and our bodies are made incredibly. So
Right.
stop talking now, but.
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping for the empowerment as well. I would give anything to have had to be in Anna's shoes, for example, right now with a young one. I mean, it's past the point right now. I wish I could have a do-over knowing what I know. Whenever anything happened with the kids, it was like, oh my goodness, when does the doctor's office open? Oh, hurry up. I'm going to be the first person to call at 7 a.m. to get a doctor appointment. It was urgent all the time. And gosh, that fear was intense.
Yep.
Well,
Look yellow. Oh, God. Oh, well. Lots of stress. I remember being so stressed out and you know, I mean, I didn't get oils until my oldest was 13 and my youngest was 8. So I feel you, girl. I mean, I would have done a lot of things differently had I known what I know now.
I know.
But you know what? You do what you can do, and lots of detox.
Definitely. Well,
So something else we're going to cover tonight, not just, you know, empowering each other as women, but we're also going to look at some of the product line that's specifically targeted for the kids and babies. And that's super exciting because I know especially several years ago, the kids line was already like ready to just grab and go. And that just took that learning curve away. I didn't have to stress about, you know, is this a hot oil or, you know, things like that. So it's really cool if you haven't dove into that line yet. you know, we're going to sort of hit on that. So are we ready, ladies?
Yeah.
Okay, a few administrative tasks. If you can, mute yourself. However, remember how you did it, because throughout this class, we will be asking you some interactive questions. We want you to get what you want out of this as well. And there will be a lot of Q&A opportunities, as well as us just polling the masses to see if we are covering everything that you want us to cover. So be on the lookout to unmute and mute whenever you can, okay? We are recording, we have been, and hopefully we will be able to share this class at some other time. But thank you for tuning in. Those of you that are tuning in now will be eligible for some giveaways. We appreciate you taking your time and sitting down and learning, because if you don't do that, you're not going to know. And like Amy said, we want to empower all of us mommies to be able to do what we need to do with confidence that we have the right tools and that we're taking care of the kids the best way possible. Okay. So no more worrying, no more helplessness feelings. We're going to dive right in, and let me do a disclaimer. I am not a doctor. Nobody on this class is. We're not here to diagnose, treat, cure any of the illnesses. The content we cover is for informational purposes only. We will provide you a lot of links during the class that will to several websites and articles for further research that you can do on your own. Without further ado, if you don't know who I am, I think everybody in the class probably knows who I am. Lisa Huffman. I am in St. Louis. I am under Amy Sickley in her team, and we are. I have been using essential oils for over 3 years now. I lose track, tell you the truth. It feels like forever. Like I said earlier, I wish I knew what we're going to teach tonight years ago, because I have a 19-year-old who's in college. I have a 15-year-old who's learning how to drive, my 15-year-old boy who's in high school. And 15 years ago, it would have been great to have that info. So I love Young Living and love teaching. I think that's the missing link with anyone using essential oils today. They don't get education, so they don't have any idea what they're doing and if it's right and with the right products, okay? Let's dive into some statistics so that we can understand why we need to worry about our babies and our kiddos, and why we should be concerned, because today, FDA and other agencies like that aren't necessarily doing us a service, if you know what I mean. Way back in the 50s and 60s, asthma, autism, cancer, autoimmune, prescription medication, food allergies, and anything else that could be titled as a chronic disease was uncommon amidst classmates. Like, you didn't hear people talking about it as much. And it wasn't because everybody was eating super healthy foods back then. I mean, that's when the microwave during that time had a very, very poor selection of fruits and vegetables, and the availability of fresh food year-round wasn't common 60 years ago. So we're pretty blessed what we have right now. But let's look at some numbers from these chronic diseases that are happening. 1 in 2.5 children have an allergy. 1 in 6 children have developmental disability. 1 in 9 children has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. 1 in 11 children has asthma. 1 in 13 children have food allergies. And 1 in 36 children are on the spectrum of some sort. It's pretty sad. Why? Okay, it's a freaking epidemic. How in the heck in 60 years did we go from being not talking about these illnesses in our children to something we almost expect? It's like, oh, you're on the spectrum. Oh, you have a boy and he has ADHD. Oh, well, okay. It's just not okay. We're numb to all of it now. It's just becoming so common. Our children are not just little adults. Their bodies are continually growing, developing, and changing, and they're, as a result, more vulnerable to negative effects of the harmful chemicals in their environment, which is what we discussed a minute ago. We expose our littlest babies even earlier than you think. I didn't know this until recently. Very scary. There was a study done that measured the number of chemicals found in the blood of newborn baby umbilical cords. The Environmental Working Group found 200 plus chemicals in the cord blood, including ones that are harmful to the development of your precious unborn child. This tells us that we as mothers need to be very cautious about the products we're using in utero. But it is also a great reminder that our babies are exposed to chemicals from not so much. Okay, so according to a research article from Health Affairs, there are 4 main differences that contribute to a child's heightened susceptibility to chemical exposure. Children have greater exposure to toxic chemicals for their body weight, simply that, than adults. Children's metabolic pathways are immature, and a child's ability to metabolize toxic chemicals is different than a full-size adult. Children's early developmental processes are easily disruptible. I mean, think about how fragile they are. They're developing so fast, okay? Children have more time than adults to develop those chronic diseases that we all talk about, okay? This is why it's important to look at your home and take a closer look at the everyday household and personal care products that you're using on yourself and your children. We'll get into that a little bit more later. But first, I would like to introduce you to Allison. She is going to provide us with a testimony and tell us how things are going with her kiddos and see if you resonate with it. Hey, Allison.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
So I wanted to jump on, and like Lisa, I've been using oils, gosh, almost 4 years. And oils were actually brought into our home for our 20-year-old son, who was a teenager at the time and had a diagnosis. And so that's kind of how oils came into our lives. But that's really not what I wanted to talk about tonight. So what I wanted to talk about tonight was how our family has learned to do things differently with our youngest, who is 6. When we started with oils, she was only 3. So we started with oils. We had a toddler. We had a toddler and a teenager and a tween when we started. And I know from having 3 children that being a mom can be a scary thing. Being a mom can, when they're sick, that's the first thing you want to do. And the only thing you think about is, how do I get my baby well? How do I get them well quickly? So oils came into our lives, and we were fine using them on the teenager, and he was doing great with them. And the rest of us were kind of like, we'll use these here and there. We've since all had testimony, but one of the major testimonies in our home is, at the time, my husband and I both work outside of the home. So our 3-year-old was in 3-year-old pre-K, and she started, I think we started with oils in May, and in November, she just was getting sick like all the time. I mean, like, she would get sick, and then 6 weeks later she'd be sick again, and then 6 weeks later she'd be sick again, and we were just constantly on this this roller coaster. And Amy Buchanan, who's on here as well, she's just been a great friend and mentor. And
I remember this time.
Yes, she kept
very
saying,
well.
Let's look at her diet. What oils can we use to support her? Let's look at her digestive system and what you're doing to support that. And so we were really, I can tell you, like, I was a little bit more, I've always been a crunchy mama, so I've always been, oils was kind of just like the last thing that we needed to latch onto in our home. We've always eaten organic. I made all my own baby food. We used non-toxic products. So not as non-toxic as we thought. you know, we used greenwashed products basically, but we thought we were doing the right thing. So fast forward, we're like, how do we keep this child well? Like, she is just, you know, I mean, when your kid is in daycare or preschool, you think that it's normal for them to be sick every 6 weeks to every 3 months. Like, you think like, oh, this is normal. Strep's going around, they got strep. Oh, this is normal. Hand, foot, mouth's going around, they got that. And it's just this cycle that you get on, and you're constantly living in fear, and you're constantly living in the pediatrician's office. So my husband kept taking my daughter to the pediatrician's office and coming home. Oh, she's got another ear infection. She's got another ear infection. She was getting ear infection after ear infection after ear infection. She was also having some digestive issues. Like, she was constipated all the time, y'all, like just awful, to the point where she was vomiting. And like, the mama in me was terrified because I wanted to try these oils and these supplements and these natural things, because I'm, you know, I mean, that I said, and that's what I stood on, and that's what I wanted to work. But the other part of me wanted to like run to the doctor and get the antibiotics and get the prescription and just do it that way. So I'm here to tell you all that my now 6-year-old has not had an antibiotic. Gosh, I think she hasn't had one since early age 3, before we started oils. We don't have any Tylenol in our house. We don't have any Motrin in our house. We don't have any Benadryl in our house. And in fact, she is like the biggest ambassador for all things natural, because she tells people that they use chemicals. We even have to like tell her like not to say some things to the kids on the bus. Like, she sees them with their little bottles of Purell, and she's like, oh, chemicals, you shouldn't be using that. That's not good for you. So we have to kind of tell her, now that she is in school and on a bus, that not everybody lives like we do, and not everybody knows what we know. I can tell you that this year was the first year. So she went all the way through. She went through the rest of 3-year-old pre-K. Once we got her, we changed her diet. We noted that dairy's not good for anybody. I haven't done dairy since 2015. So we cut dairy from her life. I will tell you that she drinks 2 ounces of Ningxia Red every day. She takes Mighty Vites. She takes Mighty Zymes. She takes Mighty Pro. So those are all of the supplements that are specifically made for kids. And we are a total Young Living household. We have no chemicals in our home. We use all Thieves cleaning products. And she uses all, we either make her soap, or we buy the kid scent stuff. So if she's got a stuffy nose, we use Sniffles. She diffuses oils every night. She's got her little feather, the owl diffuser in her room. She's asleep now. And so this year, oh, Lisa's got hers too. This year was the first year, and y'all, we've been through a lot in our home. So I will tell you that a lot of times when kids are sick, there's some stuff going on, usually emotionally. But we've been through a lot in our house this year. This is the first year that she's actually missed a day of school being sick since that 3-year-old pre-K. So she finished 3-year-old pre-K, went through 4-year-old pre-K, and went through kindergarten. And she went halfway through 1st grade before she missed a day of school.
So can I just ask real quick, Allison, because I want to let them know. I mean, I remember Robert being like, she's got a fever. We got to take her to the pediatrician. She's got this. We got to take her to and that fear. And even you were like, yeah, but she's got a fever again, Amy. What are we going? And I was like, it's going to be okay. Her body is doing what it's supposed to do. It's okay. How much and that was at the 3-year-old time.
Yeah.
How much has that changed to today? I mean, she hasn't been sick really, but I mean, now
but
it's fine. She'll be fine. We're going to let it run its course.
I'll tell y'all. So, on my birthday, she got my birthday this year, my birthday was in January. She got the flu. And, our house just doesn't look different anymore. You know, it looks different. It doesn't look the same anymore. We weren't concerned with when her fever hit 103.6. I don't get fearful of that anymore. I know that your body's response to illness is a fever. I also know that if it gets too high, and that's why we have things like peppermint and stuff like that to support lowering that, but your body is responding the way it's supposed to. So we had her and my other daughter that got the flu this year. This is the first time I've seen the flu in my house, and I can't remember how long, honestly. I mean, the 6-year-old has never had the flu, so this is her first bout with the flu at 6. And my 16-year-old had it, and I actually think she's had it one other time in her life. So it's not something that we normally end up with. We're all really, like I said, but we've dealt with a lot of emotional stuff in our house this year. But both of them, we used our immune roller ball. They drank lots of Ningxia. They diffused a lot. They took a lot of extra supplements. I mean, we were, popping Super C's like it was candy. And we just do things differently. We don't rush to the pediatrician. In fact, I had to tell her teacher that she had the flu, and then her teacher was like, well, what kind of flu? And I was like, well, we think it was B because that's what her sister had. The only reason we knew that her sister had the flu was because she needed a sports physical, and she was sick when she went for the sports physical. And they're like, well, we think she's got the flu. So we're just not that family that runs to the pediatrician anymore. Now, I am a firm believer that there's a time and a place for certain things like that. But we as a society want to address every tiny little issue with some sort of something at a doctor. And that's just not how we do things anymore. And I don't have the fear. We go to sleep at night and we know our kids are going to be okay.
Yes, it's empowerment. And that's what, the difference that I see in you and Robert in how you're raising your kids from, and just the fear of them being sick. It's awesome. And allowing them their little bodies that were created to be able to withstand lots of different things, allowing their little bodies to be, heal themselves. So, all right, sorry, I'll be quiet now.
Well, I just wanted to say too, I'm speaking from an area where, she was getting sick like all the time. She was out once every month to once every 6 weeks for a good 8 months. And we started using these products. And like I said, she said she's been out just this time this year with the flu. That's it. She went through, and she was in a big pre-K class. She wasn't in like a little at-home pre-K. She was in a big pre-K school and in a kindergarten with 30 other kids and on the bus with all these kids. And she's been healthy. So that's a real, we use elderberry every day this time of year, just little things like that. So is Sarah up next?
Nope. I got it.
Back to you, Lisa.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Hearing from another mom who went from fear to empowerment is really nice to know that it's possible. I feel a lot of it is not just product knowledge, but educating the mom on this is what a virus is, this is what bacteria is, and how to handle both. When you're a new mom, you have zero clue whatever's going on. And as you experience things, you start remembering, oh, this is how you take care of that. This is how you take care of that. And you don't have to do anything over the counter. So let's dive into an area that we all know benefits our immune systems really quickly. The first pillar of health with most of us, even our little ones, is the environment that they live in. We've touched base on that a little bit, but let's dive a little deeper. They sleep, breathe, crawl, and play day in, day out in our homes. There is so much you can do to eliminate their exposure and reduce their bioaccumulation of toxins that they can get from all those household things, including yourself, okay? First, it's important to replace toxic laundry detergents and fabric softeners. If you're using fabric softener, all it does, and I know you probably heard this before, but please, please, please know that all it does is coat the fibers. It provides a nice smell, but to my nose, that I haven't smelled that anymore, it's stinky smell. It coats the fibers, giving you a fake sense of aroma and softness. So if you're coating the fibers of your clothing, you're also coating the inside of your dryer vent and your dryer. So take it out, stop using it, and try wool dryer balls with essential oil dropped on the wool dryer balls. Okay? We absorb those chemicals and those products that are in our laundry and our fabric softeners through our skin. And your skin is your biggest organ. You can't avoid absorbing your sheets when you lay on them, your towels when you use them, your clothing because you wear them. It's a huge factor to consider. Babies and children are especially susceptible because their skin is so sensitive and they're so young. Young Living Thieves laundry soap is non-toxic and plant-based and cleans clothing gently and powerfully. We can all attest to you right here, right now, that it does a fantastic job, and it's multi-purpose as well. Thieves laundry soap has a fresh citrusy aroma, so you still get that aroma you love, and it uses genuine essential oils. You could feel good about using plant-based natural essential oil soap with a day-old baby. No longer do you have to go run out and get that special infant soap. Baby soap. Nope, it works for the whole family. It's multi-purpose and it's fantastic. Instead of fabric softeners, like I mentioned, use wool dryer balls. And you can play with the fragrance. Say you feel like lavender one day or citrus fresh the next, or purification because your husband's clothing reeks. There you go. You've got the alternatives available at your moment's notice. The next common household product that is a safety hazard is our household cleaners. How many of you guys have more than 2 bottles of household cleaner underneath your cabinet? I bet a lot of you. Okay. Yeah, not anymore. Awesome. The vast majority of household cleaners contain toxic ingredients that are absorbed through the skin again. And when children are in the bathtub or they breathed it in when it's sprayed in the air. Don't get me started on air fresheners. How much sense does it make to use products in our bathtubs and bathrooms with labels recommending you call poison control? Doesn't make much sense. Then you're going to make the baby lay all over it and, you know, play in the water. Not so good. They're very vulnerable to toxic exposure. Thieves Household Cleaner is a safe, non-toxic, versatile, and effective alternative to almost every single cleaner under your cabinet. That's a whole different class. And yes, we have a whole class on how to use Thieves Household Cleaner in the 15 gazillion ways you can. It is a miracle product. I love it. There you go. Sarah's showing us some of it. It is so effective. They have an entire line of products based on the essential oil blend that is in Thieves. Think about how you use your household cleaner. It's on the bathtub, the sinks, the toilets, the floors, the mirrors, the countertops. It's everywhere, just like the laundry soap with the clothing and the sheets. You can also replace dish soap with unhealthy ingredients with plant-based Thieves dish soap, which is what Sarah just showed us. This will help you avoid residues of chemicals on your dishes and your baby bottles. How many of you have to wash baby bottles? Yeah, we need some all-natural stuff going on there too, okay? And then please do some research on your own about how awful the next group of products are. Easily, excuse me, easily done. Air fresheners, candles, and scented waxes. They're very popular. They are greatly contributors to indoor pollution and give off toxic fumes that can be harmful to everyone, especially kids, okay? Instead, you need a diffuser. Ta-da! This is the Feather diffuser, and he is adorable. He plays music. He also has all the lights that the other diffusers have and multiple settings. Purification, lavender and lemon purify the air. and provide an aroma that is healthy. Okay. And with babies and sometimes husbands, like I mentioned, you can get some pretty stinky smells. Okay. Let's not talk about that diaper pail. Now you're talking about bath, skincare, and oral care products for children. They're also notoriously laden with chemicals such as mineral oil, parabens, phthalates? I can never say that correctly. And fake fragrances. Fragrance, if you ever see the word fragrance on the back of a bottle, do not use it. There is no legislation, no regulation on what is in that word. There's many thousands of different synthetic fragrances that are blended in a lab to make your product smell like they want it to, so you'll buy it. You don't know what you're putting on your skin. You don't know what you're putting in your air, on and on and on. Avoid the word fragrance. If you see fragrance, no. Okay. You can also use Young Living essential oils for the skin care of your little ones. Yes, very much. Some essential oils that are fantastic for skin health in both babies and children are lemon, lavender, geranium, and gentle baby oils. I have gentle baby right now. It is amazingly soft and subtle. Diluted lavender oil is good for overall skin health and is especially helpful to soothe rashes or to apply on baby's diaper area. Okay. Diluted lemon and geranium promote a healthy scalp on babies that help clear up baby acne. There's your first hot tips of the class. And instead of bubble baths with toxic ingredients and fake fragrances, we will not go into the fake fragrances discussion again. You can use essential oils in the bathtub, but here's the key. First, mix the essential oils like lavender, gentle baby, or peace and calming with Epsom salts in your hand or the scoop that you might use, and then add them to the water. The essential oils will sit on the surface of the bathtub and not really provide you much use. If you put them in the Epsom salt first, they'll be dispersed throughout the whole bathtub much more effectively. Okay, they'll nourish your child's skin, and the aroma will calm them down for bath time. Time to go to bed. Okay.
Can I say one thing?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
when I was a new mama, the lavender Johnson & Johnson's had just come out. I don't know if you already went over this or not, but
No.
I'm embarrassed even to say. I mean, I had to have it. It was like the bomb, and I got the lavender lotion and the lavender bath wash, and I mean, now I look back and I think, oh my gosh, how incredibly disgusting. But I was certain it was going to be what I needed, because we're desperate for sleep when we're a new mama. I mean, we're desperate. And I look and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And now that it's come out, Johnson & Johnson's products, all of them have carcinogens in it. And there is no level of safe carcinogen. And I'm just like, oh, what I put on my kids when they're teeny tiny.
Right.
Anyhow, so sorry about that, but I just had to say, I mean, run from scented products. Run from them.
Yes. And do you remember the Johnson & Johnson eucalyptus one for when they had the sniffles? I was all over that. I thought I had found a gold mine. Oh, no. Okay, excuse this cough. So Young Living knows how exactly how sensitive your babies are and believes it's 100% important. It's important for you to use safe and effective ingredients. So they have developed this whole line of products for kids and babies, and they're all plant-based, and they contain 100% top shelf ingredients that you don't have to worry about, okay? However, there are a few ingredients that I would like to bring to your attention so that you can educate yourself, okay? Why Young Living, okay? Because quality matters, all right? Why does it matter that Young Living seedlings products are made without lanolin, parabens, phthalates, petrochemicals, synthetic preservatives, synthetic fragrances, and synthetic colors, okay? Why? Because we want our babies and our kids to have reduced toxic exposure. Lanolin is a product derived from sheep that can contain GMOs and pesticides when those sheep are exposed to them. GMOs are often doused with glyphosate, which can be an endocrine disruptor. That's hormones, bad juju. Parabens are known carcinogens linked to cancer. They are also reproductive and developmental toxins. We've already discussed how fast our babies are growing. We don't need to be messing with their development, all right? Phthalates, these are tricky. They're listed as DEP, DBP, and DEHP on a label. They're toxic to the reproductive system, again, and they affect fetal development. Okay. Phthalates also disrupt your endocrine system and are known carcinogens. Quadruple whammy with that one. Petrochemicals, including mineral oils, are made from petroleum and may cause breakouts, premature aging, and negatively affect your hormones and your immune system. They're found in many commonly available lotions, creams, ointments, and cosmetics. Synthetic fragrances, we briefly discussed that already. 95% of the chemicals in synthetic fragrances are derived from petrochemicals. These petrochemicals include benzene derivatives, aldehydes, and phthalates. These and many other known toxins are capable of causing all kinds of awful stuff, and they're even cited on the EPA's hazardous waste list. Are you joking? But they're allowed to put them in these products. It's just awful. It's awful. Okay? Synthetic dyes. We all know that we've heard, oh, stay away from food colors, okay? Why does everything have to have a color? Okay? Many artificial dyes have been banned from use in food because of the health problems they are causing that we are all well aware of. Unfortunately, there are relatively few restrictions on the types of dyes that can be used in our skincare products. Again, everything has to have a color. The most common synthetic colors used in cosmetics and hair dyes are called FD&C colors, okay? They are derived from coal tar, which is a byproduct of petroleum. We've already covered what that is. Because some coal tar dyes have been known to cause cancer, they are regulated by the FDA in food, okay, but not skincare. And the amount of lead or arsenic they are allowed to contain. Really? It's just not okay.
This
okay?
should make us angry, you guys.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes we start hearing these words and they're big words, and so we kind of go, oh, okay, whatever. No. Yeah, wah, 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 wah.
Right, wah, 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 wah.
Y'all, this should make us angry. This is where I'm kind of like, let's be empowered women and stand up and go, no more. We do not accept this. This is unacceptable. Sorry.
Right.
It's out there.
Well, you know, this is why we trust Young Living, because we've been to their farms. We know the company. They've been tested. We want the best for our kids, but you want high quality products that are safe and effective. But have you been down the organic aisle lately? How confusing greenwashing is. It's not fair. All we're trying to do is be good mamas, okay? It's just, or grandmas. It's just not easy. So Young Living's quality standards, for those of you who don't know about them real quick, Young Living has a seed to seal guarantee and a promise. It abides by very strict guidelines that I love and appreciate every time I pick up a bottle of oil or a household cleaner or anything else I do, okay? Young Living owns its own farms, which no other major company does. It has partner farms that have to abide by the same standards as the ones we own. Any chemical for 50 years. Organic standards are only 5. Talk about high standards. Young Living picks the absolute best seeds from strong, thriving plants to start the next batch. They hand weed and use its own soil on plants for pest control and avoid harmful chemicals. Yay, okay? They only harvest when it's time to, not when it's time to make more money, okay? They distill on site without chemicals, and they test every single batch multiple times throughout the process, not just at the end, with state-of-the-art equipment. All of this means Young Living, to me, is trusted and basically is the easy button for those that are overwhelmed with trying to find something good. Young Living has it, okay? How important is it? How important is quality, and how important is it that the company be transparent with you about what's in its products? Pretty important, right?
I love it. And y'all think about it. Like for me, trying to remember, okay, just even the Dirty Dozen, okay, I can't remember all the names. And then what's worse is the companies come up with other names for the products, the bad things. So it could be DTC or FTA or SLS, or I mean, there's like 1,000 alpha hydroxy. I mean, there are so many different names, and I can't remember them. I mean, literally, I'm like, oh, is that bad? Is that good? Okay, was that the right one or the? With Young Living, and I know this sounds like I'm hitting the easy button, but I am. It's just easy. It's a whole lot easier because I know, oh, I don't have to worry about it. I'll just order it from Young Living. I mean, or I'll DIY it with things that I know are good and Young Living products added to it. I mean, that's been like life-changing for me. I'm not reading as many labels. I am on food, but not as much. None of the personal care products for my kids or myself do I have to read all the labels. It's awesome.
And I would just challenge you real quick. I would just challenge you. If you think that you can find the quality, go down your grocery store aisle and just try. Because from time to time, if I'm in, like I was in Publix last week one day, and I just thought, I'm just going to go see. You won't find it. You can't find the things that don't say fragrance, even the natural things. You're going to find things that are not good.
Yep.
Well, Miss Sarah,
Yes.
we would like you to take a turn and tell us all about how we incorporate these wonderful things with our little babies and our kids, because there is a little bit to learn, and usage and safety tips, which is what most of us fear, using something wrong. All those stories out in the headlines, all the things that you hear. Can we just tell everybody the real deal?
Yes. So here's the deal. Another reason why we love, love, love Young Living is because we can literally use it everywhere on everybody. It must be getting ready to storm because y'all, like, look at this. My dog, this is my Gus. He's literally shaking at my feet. Like, I wonder if the rain's coming, because I'm about to have to get in some peace and calming. Anyway, like, do you see him shaking? Oh my goodness. Anyway, the part I love about it is that we can use the same oils that I used on me. I can use them on my children, my teenagers, my babies, even my friend who's pregnant. I can use them on my animals because they're safe. It's like, who doesn't drink water? Except our city water right now is contaminated. Like, you literally can't drink water in our city. Anyway, but everybody drinks water, right? And it's the same way with our oils. Because they're pure, because they're what the label says, everybody can have a turn with lavender. So let's just talk, before we talk about sort of how to use, okay, you got to go, buddy. Before we talk about how to use the kids line or the babies, let's go back to the fever for just a moment, because Allison, you touched on that. Something I never knew as a young mom was that fever is actually part of how God created our bodies to heal. Okay? And so when we have some microbes coming into our body, our fever is a way to fight it. It's a way to get rid of it. It's not hurting our body. It's actually protecting our body. So as a mama or as a grandmama, we have to know that, yes, a fever does cause us red flag, right? it means something's going on in that little body. And God is so amazing that he created something within that body to fight it. That doesn't mean we have to run and jump in. God's already done it. Okay? It's already done. What we do have to do, though, is watch our children. We have to make sure that we know them well enough to know when something's wrong. I'm not saying ignore a fever, y'all. I'm not saying to ignore the fever. I'm saying watch your children. If your child has 102 fever, they might be perfectly fine. They might be a little achy. They might be cool. And that's when I grab the peppermint oil and put on the bottom of their feet or, maybe on their spine. But generally, if they're not lethargic, if they're not like, very, very different, let them be. Get them comfortable. Usually, and I would definitely talk to your doctor to see what your doctor says, but 104, that's usually the tipping point to say, okay, let's put some peppermint on your feet to bring that temperature back to normal. Because the fever's a good thing, y'all, okay? Maybe you want to put them in a cool bath. Maybe you want to take all those heavy blankets off of them. But that doesn't mean that we control the fever until it gets high enough, okay? All right. So that was such a huge shift of thinking for me as a mama. I was just always told any fever, give them Tylenol, give them Motrin. That's not the case. That's going against
fever.
Yeah. Why did God make our bodies to have fever, y'all? That's like sweating. It's the same thing. We sweat for a reason. So don't try to make your body quit sweating. It's not how God made it. Anyway, I feel like I'm preaching and I'm not trying to preach. So here we go. We can use essential oils on our babies and our kids safely. Definitely peppermint has been a lifesaver for my kids the few times that they have been under the weather. I love putting peppermint often on the bottom of their feet, maybe even their tummies. I've been known to put it up here in their hair. That way it's not like in their eyes, but I have put a drop on their scalp. Peppermint is a very good body temperature regulator. So, I don't have a problem with that. Now, just like with anybody, whether it's your animals, kids, or yourself, you don't ever put essential oils in your eyes. You never drop them directly into the ears. Just last night, as a matter of fact, I had a chiropractic adjustment. So I had a ton of drainage on this left side of mine. And out of the blue at church, I had like the floodgates open. And I had all this stuff coming out. So last night at bedtime, I dropped basil on a cotton ball, actually both ears, and I put the cotton ball in my ears. I didn't put the oil straight in there. I put it on a cotton ball. And I stuck the cotton ball in my ears and went to bed. And I woke up this morning, y'all, I'm not kidding you, it was fine. I still had some drainage, but I was totally fine. That's not all I did, by the way. Anyways, so be careful. Don't drop oils in the eyes or the ears. Some of the citrus oils, just like with us, the citrus oils you don't want to lather on your children and then go out in the sun, because there could be some photosensitivities to that. I've personally never had a reaction, and that's just up to you guys, your personal, your skin. Just be aware. I never knew bergamot was a citrus oil. Who knew? Bergamot's citrus. So don't lather it up and then go out in the sun. The oils that are in the Kids Sense line, some of you may have used these before, but I just want to show you a couple of these. Young Living is so awesome because they actually give us a whole line. Can you see these? This is one of my very favorites, and it's the Owie. It's like first aid in a bottle. Oh, look, we have a baby. Hi, Shannon's baby. Grandbaby.
Owie's awesome because it helps with, it almost like numbs the skin a little bit. I don't know if y'all ever used the Bactine spray when your kids were little on a wound, just a scratch or whatever. Owie kind of works like that. It's nice.
So the cool thing about these kids line and the baby line, these are already diluted. So like generally, if you're using oils like on Shannon's grandbaby right there, you would do like a 50-50 ratio with a carrier oil. Or you might choose to put them on the feet. Hi, until you know, right? But the cool thing about the kids stents is it's already diluted. So you don't have to worry about, oh, is it going to be too strong? Do I need to dilute it some more? You just throw it on and go. Okay. Now I will warn you though, whether it's adults or kids, I always recommend you starting slow till you know, right? That's our motto, start slow till you know. So no matter what oil, no matter what baby it is or child, put it somewhere that's less sensitive and then work your way up. At this point, like we literally slather oils from head to toe. We don't dilute anything really. But until you know your child, some children are more sensitive than others.
May I ask for clarification on what you would use to dilute the oils?
Sure. So that's a really good question because you can use any of the oils that you have already for yourselves on kids and babies. You don't have to go and get the kids line. Like you can totally use Digize on your baby's tummy. Okay. But I would recommend diluting with a carrier oil that you probably already have in your kitchen. Something like olive oil or coconut, jojoba oil, almond oil, any of those good pure oils. I would never use vegetable oil because it's so highly processed, right? Like we're not talking Crisco. We're talking about more pure oils. And it depends, they say a 50-50 ratio. I remember when I first got my oils, I was always looking in the book, trying to see exactly how much. Guys, listen, I'm just going to tell you, and you ladies can agree with me if you've used oils at all. Put it on their feet. If you're a praying mama, pray over your baby, put it on their feet, and don't stress about how many drops and how much olive oil to put on it, okay? God's going to bless your effort. So, okay, a lot of our labels on things, I have animal sense ointment. A lot of the labels will say use on kids ages 2 to 12. But I just want to ensure you guys, that's to follow label laws because Young Living is big on following the rules, right? And so we don't want to do anything that upsets the people who are in charge. But I will tell you this. Do you only give your babies water when they turn 2? Are you allowed to use water in their formula? Yeah. Okay, we don't wait until they turn 2 when it's something good. Okay, you don't wait till they turn 2 to feed them squash and broccoli, right? Like you're making that food now. It says 2 to 12 because of label laws. I personally have used on babies that were newborn, pregnant mamas, because we just learned from Lisa, everything on mama goes to baby. So don't let that stress you out is what I'm saying, okay? One of the best and easiest ways, just like with Shannon's grandbaby there, one of the easiest ways is to simply diffuse, okay? Just diffuse. If we have a baby that's cranky and just ill and not sleeping, put something calming in there, the gentle baby. That's a line for babies. Lavender, or even, here's the kids line, it's called Sleepy Eyes. Okay, put something in there that's calming. And guess what? It'll probably calm you down too, which is a win-win. So don't forget the power of diffusing.
Have you ever seen that video that made its way through Facebook? It was popular, not even in the oily groups, but a crying baby, and they took an open bottle of oil and just waved it by the baby's nose, and the baby calmed down. Yeah. Aromatherapy is a legit tool, and all the mamas and the daddies and the grandmas and the friends need to know about it. It is crucially important. It works. It works. It works. It works.
It does. That reminds me, we were with Madeline's cow today. She shows dairy cows. And so we put Peace and Calming every time we go up to the cow. Every day it sits in her locker. And so because she goes to a show tomorrow, we didn't want to drop, because it's an orange color, we didn't want to drop it and let it stain her coat. So we literally put it on her hand and we let the cow smell it. And it was amazing. We shaved this cow, and this cow normally kicks and does all kinds of crazy stuff. She just stood there, and it was all like, we didn't even touch the oils. We just put it to her nose. Same effect, no matter if you're a baby, a teenager, a cow, whatever. Aromatherapy, like you said, is good. All right, I need to hear from you people. All of you ladies, beautiful people who are on here, I need some people to ask questions, because I promise if you're wondering something, somebody else is too. So
Now
unmute yourself. Unmute and jump in.
Yep. Who's first? Hey, Julie, you're live.
I've been running around cleaning, I'm sorry. And now I'm actually currently working out while talking to you guys. I don't want to bring up a weird subject or offend anybody or anything, but I have a question just out of the aspect of knowing. So, I mean, Lisa and Anna, as you guys know, I kind of had to go all natural because I found out I was allergic to all those fragrances and those chemicals. So like I actually had a specialist at WashU tell me I had to go all natural. So we switched pretty much everything over the course of a year to all natural, you know, to the best of our abilities within reason. Well, my question is, you know, I am from a medical background family. You know, I still believe in certain medicine when it's necessary, but I guess my question is, are people like in this group anti-vaccination, or like, do you not vaccinate because of the all natural, you know, living?
Personally, I don't advocate per se, but I choose not to vaccinate my children.
Me personally, if I had a do-over, I would not vaccinate on the same schedule that they want to. It's too much, too fast, too soon. I would research more and investigate all of them and pick exactly what I thought was absolutely necessary. That's my personal opinion.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I chose not to vaccinate my children. I've worked with kids for a long time, and I'm from a medical background as well. But that is a personal choice, and I don't judge one way or the other. Having worked with a lot of special needs children and a lot of kids who are chronically ill, it was something that I felt very compelled to do. And they're very, very healthy, which is really cool.
I mean, me personally, I choose to vaccinate my children just because hold on, baby. Because I mean, I do know, I mean, I've seen the medical background of it. So, but I just, you know, I don't like mom shaming at all. And I have friends that are, I guess, you know, they're more all natural. I had to go all natural, and I'm really glad we did, because my kids are like never sick now because of it. And people look at me when I'm crazy when I say, oh, it's because we went to all natural or all chemicals are gone and we use oils. And even my doctor, who's a regular doctor, you know, not all natural doctor, I told him a couple weeks ago, I was like, you know, I still believe in vaccinations and everything, but my kids are never sick now and he goes, oh no, you're not crazy. There's something to it. He's like, my wife uses oils. He's like, we switched all of our stuff to non-chemical. And he goes, and now we never get sick. And he goes, I tell my patients that. And once they switched to all natural, I don't see them as much. Because he said the actual chemicals in stuff cause you to break your immune system down and get sick. So
That's exactly right. Kudos to your doctor.
Yeah, I know. That was just the end of December. I think I told Lisa and Anna that I was like in shock. I was like, thought he was going to tell me I was crazy and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I have friends that have been on the all natural train for a while, and they tell me I'm a bad mom because I vaccinate my kids. Like, I literally had somebody tell me it the other day.
This is a non-judgmental community that we have here. Okay. We are here only to educate you on what we know. This is not a vaccination group, and the things that you choose to do is your business. You are the gatekeeper of your home. We all fall short. Every one of us in this group falls short. Okay. whether it's drinking sodas or having bad emotional habits or relationships. None of us are perfect, okay? And so we are just here to support each other. And if you choose to do something for your family, that's
Absolutely.
not on us. So, girl, you got it.
Yeah.
My daughter got sick for the first time in a year, so she was the only one in her whole kindergarten class that hadn't missed a day of school. She got like the little perfect attendance awards. And the other day she got sick for the first time, and when I say got sick, she had a fever. That was it. Nothing else. She had a fever. It wasn't throwing up, no cough, no nothing. She just said, "Mom." You could just tell she was drained. She had a fever. Well, obviously you can't send your kid to school with a fever. So I didn't, and she stayed home. Well, apparently everybody in her, like everyone in her kindergarten class, which is like 85 kids, 11 of them got confirmed with flu, influenza B or A, or I don't know, one of those. And one of the moms told me that I was a bad mom because I didn't take my daughter to the doctor.
Oh,
She literally called me to say, "What kind of mom are you not taking your kid to the doctor?" And I'm like, "She has a fever." And they're like, "Yeah, you need to take her." I was like, "No, I don't take them to the doctor anymore because I'm tired of them charging me a whole bunch of money to tell me they're sick and then no medicine I'm going to take anyway."
right.
So, and this mama is giving her daughter, her daughter was sick for 5 days. My daughter was off school for 1 day with a fever and back fine the next day and no other symptoms. And I totally contribute that to oils and changing how we live and stuff. But I mean, it just blows my mind that people are just so, rude, I guess.
Many people are afraid to think for themselves and to do research for themselves. And so anytime we go against the grain, it's hard for others to understand. And remember, they live in fear. And that's where everything comes from, is from fear. When you are empowered and you are making choices, to be proactive, that fear goes out the window for us. And like you said, yeah, your daughter went down with a flu, but she bounced right back. And you know that.
Well, and I don't even know if it was the flu. I didn't go get a test to find out.
But why do we need that diagnosis if we know?
I don't.
Right, exactly. And so
that's why I chose not to take her. I don't want to pay $500 for you to tell me that my daughter's sick, and then I'm not giving her Tamiflu. I can tell you that.
No.
So there was literally a story of my sister-in-law is actually a peds nurse at Mercy, and in the emergency section, and there was a mom that gave her daughter Tamiflu, which I don't know if any of you know anything about it, but her daughter woke up and tried to murder her in the middle of the night. And the doctor said that it was a side effect of Tamiflu. They said it can make you go crazy. Her 5-year-old daughter went to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and her mom woke up with a knife to her throat from her 5-year-old daughter. And she said, she took her to the ER, and the doctor said that it is a side effect of Tamiflu, and that's why most doctors won't recommend it anymore. That can apparently make you go crazy.
So, interesting. I was looking at, how many babies have acid reflux, and it seems like every baby does. Well, apparently that's a natural thing. Apparently babies spit up. Did you know that? That's kind of a normal thing, kind of like babies poop, right? So all of these babies these days are getting put on acid reflux suppressants.
Yes.
And
pump inhibitors. Terrible.
The results are showing that if babies are on that, the risk of developing allergies, food allergies, soars. If they're on that medication, they're very likely to develop allergies and food allergies.
And
do they even tell us this stuff?
Remember, it's been linked to cancer as well.
You need to go to your room, bud.
The younger you take it, the worse it is. So,
we just have to think. We just really, as mamas, have to think, I'm focusing on safety here. We shouldn't fear these.
No.
There is nothing in here that causes cancer. There's nothing in here that's going to cause me to stop breathing. There's nothing in here that's going to make me want to go do what that 5-year-old girl did to her mama in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen. There are 0 cases of death from essential oils. Look up how many cases of death from prescriptions last year.
Mhm.
Okay. So
That's
our
something.
fear has to go in the right place. We should not fear our oils. We should fear other things.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yes, questions. This is your opportunity.
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi. So I have a 7-year-old Trey. Can you hear me?
No.
Barely, hardly.
Is your
Yes.
finger on the microphone?
Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay! Okay. So 7-year-old, recently diagnosed ADHD. We're struggling.
Oh.
So we tried a stimulant prescribed from the doctor. It went very poorly, and it ended with he threatened a little girl at school and got an office referral and broke his mama's heart. And I know that's not him. So I'm just looking for the best way. I mean, I've been reading lots of things about diet and exercise, and
Sugar.
I didn't know if anybody had any background experience with. Yes.
Yes. I can very briefly tell you what my experience was. First of all, I totally sympathize with your frustrations and your sadness, because this is your boy. And you know that the behavior is behavior. That's not your boy. Okay. I was very fear-based back then, and you just want to do what's right to help him. And then you get told that he's got a chemical misfire in his brain, so he needs to take this medication to make it fire correctly. And then you do as a last resort, because the diet and the exercise isn't changing things fast enough. We try the medication, and my poor little dude turns into a zombie. He stops wanting to eat, doesn't have any appetite whatsoever, does not like to go to sleep. He is a mess. I have pictures that are night and day from what he is now and what he was then. And it was a fluke how it happened. I went away for a girls' retreat of some sort, and I came back, and for a full week, Dad and he forgot to take the medication. And I'm saying to myself, if you haven't taken medication for a long time, why are we still on it? I don't notice anything over the top crazy going on right now with your behavior. Why are we still on it? So then that's when I got dive deeper into oils. And let me tell you what we did. We supported his brain like nobody's business. There are a lot of supplements, and there are a lot of gut health things that you can concentrate on that connect directly to the brain that will support where he's weak right now. Of course, there's the diet that you still should pay attention to. There's, fresh air for someone who's a little wiggly is fantastic. But supporting his brain is crucial. There's several Young Living products that are top notch. They have essential oils in them. They're more bioavailable, which means your body recognizes it and absorbs more of it. I don't know about, she's holding up a bottle of Kid Sense. Is that Genesis? Yes, that is brain support oil right there. There's also MindWise, which is a supplement. Ninja Red is our supplement as well that we use on a daily basis in our home. It's whole body nutrition. Then there is Mighty Pro. That's the super fun, any kid would ever want to take it. It's a powdered pixie stick style probiotic that they take once a day. And if you improve their gut health, the brain gets supported too. So don't ignore the gut, because that's going to provide dramatic results with brain support. just focus on brain support. See if that doesn't help.
Okay. Thank you so much. We've been trying a few things. Like you said, getting outside, even when it was very cold, or even like today when it was rainy and the rain let up for a little bit here. Get outside, jump in a puddle. We had a wonderful psychologist that did his testing that recommended, he said, I will send the paperwork to your doctor. You can go and talk about the medication, but I want you to read this book on, how exercise affects the brain. And I want you to, he wanted us to do some fish oils and other things to support. So he was really supportive of the whole body picture of it, instead of just throwing some medicine at it. But he also is aware that a lot of times that is what people are looking for. And we kind of went there out of desperation, I guess, thinking, well, maybe we should try it because he's struggling at school, and he shouldn't be. Like, his IQ is fantastic.
There is a 3rd grade classroom just down the road from me, and this school year alone, 9 boys have been put on medication for ADHD. This year, 3rd grade,
That's just crazy.
that's like all the boys almost in the whole entire class.
So sad.
Yeah.
They're pushing for more. And the only ones who are not on the medications are the moms who are putting their foot down saying, my kid is not getting there, so quit pushing it.
Right.
So sometimes, I'm not saying your kid does not have ADHD, because it's a legit, for some people, it is legit. Although we can do things. Okay. But the majority of the time, it's that they're boys, or that their diet just isn't, or that they just have too many heavy metals in their body and they need to be detoxed, or that they've had too many stimulants or food dyes, or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
does it really need medication that much?
So
Aw.
real quick, Kelly, this is something I work with. My background is working with kids with special needs and ADHD and autism, and that's kind of why I went the crunchy road as well. So I would be more than happy to sit down and talk with you about some specific things that you can do for him that I've seen a lot of results from a lot of mamas, but I'd want to get some history and some things from you. So feel free to reach out to me, or I can, or I'll stalk you, and and because that is my heart's desire, is to help mamas with kids, especially ones that have chronic diagnoses.
Yes. Thank you.
But Kelly, I want you to know, and everybody on here, there is definitely options that actually work.
Right.
Bottom line. And I'm one of those that was on medication before, so I can personally attest to that as well. Many others can too. Allison can. I mean, that's just a thing. Okay, Amy, do you want to, like, it's already 9:15, so do you want to say anything about any other products, like the baby seedlings, or, I mean, guys, I know we can post some graphics for you just for time's sake. If you have questions specifically, there's a whole line of kids and babies.
Yes.
Amy, if you wanted to hit anything, any of your favorites, or no? Okay.
Can I just tell Kelly real quick? So my son is 4. He'll be 5 in March, and he got. We've already been diagnosed with ADHD, and he was a hot mess. And they wanted to put him on medicine. I'm like, no, not at this age, especially because my husband had it and my brother has it, and his mom, my husband's mom had him on medicine for it when he was younger. And she said it turned him into like a zombie. She said he was just not the same kid. He didn't have the behavior problems, but he wasn't the same kid. So she took him back off of it. Now, I had basilar migraines, and I went on since I was in middle school, and I was taking Topamax for 15 years, and I decided I need to lose some weight. So I ended up starting the ketogenic diet, and I lost about 100 pounds on the ketogenic diet. But I think the best thing that I gained is when I cut out the sugar. all of a sudden I didn't have migraines anymore. So I went to the doctor and I'm like, hey, can I stop this medicine? And he's like, why? You've been on it 15 years. And I was like, well, I don't have them anymore. And I kind of stopped taking it on my own about a month ago, and I haven't had a single migraine. And he's like, oh, well, what diet are you doing? And I'm like, the ketogenic diet. And he's like, oh, yeah, once you cut out sugar, you won't have your migraines anymore. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this before?
Really?
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Really?
So I after a month on the diet of cutting out sugar, I all of a sudden didn't have migraines. I was losing weight and I felt amazing. And so I was like, you know what? Let me try this with Jansen. Like, let me try this with my son. So I told my husband, stop giving him fruit snacks, stop giving him all the sugar. And all of a sudden he's a different kid. So I really think a lot of it can be caused by sugar. Kelly, I don't know what his diet's like or anything. And it's impossible to say you can't have sugar because I still eat sugar now that I'm not on the ketogenic diet. We're all addicted to it. It's like a drug. But I don't know if he's like a regular candy eater or fruit snacks. People say fruit snacks are healthy. They're not. They're full of sugar. Like, all we did is cut out the fruit snacks, and I told him to stop with the, weekly trips to the gas station for the kids to get candy. And my son's behavior changed. I'm not saying he's a perfect kid now, but his behavior changed leaps and bounds just from cutting out sugar.
And just think of the food dye that's in those gummies too, those fruit snacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sugar's
Judy.
the devil, apparently.
I know Amy would agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Do we have any more questions? I mean, ladies, this is just a safe place to be vulnerable, and we've already established it's a judge-free zone. I mean, man, if we were all perfect, we wouldn't need to be here, would we?
Mm-mm.
Hey, I'll be the first to admit I have a little sugar problem. I like some sugar myself, so it's something I work on continuously.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all, it's been awesome. This is the kind of class that I love, where you walk away with knowledge, you walk away with a community. Just know we are here to support each other, because that's what this is all about. Being
Mm-hmm.
able to walk this healthy journey, being able to walk beside each other and link arms and say, okay, we're here to help each other and be empowered and help. And the reason we do this is because we want to help others do the same thing. And that's what's amazing, is empower other mamas, all those third grade mamas, to say, no, not today. I'm not putting my son on ADHD medication. Amen. So.
Amen.
Yeah.
We have been telling you guys that we have some giveaways to offer, and they will be announced in the event page tomorrow. Yay! And before we let you go, we want you to know that you can reach out to anyone who invited you to this and ask for more questions, ask for more answers. And also, if you know anybody that has teenagers, we're going to do something just like this.
Yes.
At the end of the month, on the 25th at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'd love for you to attend, because parenting teens is hard.
It ain't no joke. It ain't no joke.
And we're gonna provide you with a lot of parenting resources and support at that class, and then some. Okay? Thank you for attending. It was wonderful to see you guys.
Yep.
Yes.
Have a
All
good night.
Bye, ladies.
Good night, everybody.